Former Donald Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows suffered a humiliating defeat in court last Friday when a U.S. district judge, the one who had been, tasked with determining whether or not to remove Mark Meadows' case from state court to federal court, that judge said, no, you're not getting moved to federal court because in spite of your hours of testimony last week and in spite of your wonderful legal arguments, and by the way, you did have some decent arguments, it doesn't change the fact that your attempts to overturn the election for Donald Trump were not part of your official duties as chief of staff, and therefore, this is a state crime. You're not going to federal court. That is the biggest blow that Mark Meadows could have received. Here's why. If Meadows had successfully argued that his duties, that what he did to help Trump, try to overturn the election in Georgia and get the fake elector sent to Congress, if he had successfully made that argument to get his case moved to federal court, he could then successfully make the argument that, hey, this was obviously within my actual job, therefore I can't be prosecuted for it. So the charges have to be dropped. That's what would have happened. But now that can't happen. Meadows, like everybody else, is now going to have to face the prosecution. Unless, of course, he decides that it's not worth it. Because Meadows is now faced with two choices. Go to trial in Georgia State Court, a trial that will be live streamed on YouTube, or play Let's Make a Deal. Call up the prosecutor and be like, hey, Miss Willis, how you doing today? I got some things I want to talk about. Those are your two choices now, Mark. Those are your only two choices now, Mark. So choose wisely, because there is a good decision there and there is a bad decision. But you have to make that choice yourself. Nobody can make you make it. But you may want to make it quick, because I'm willing to bet that after your legal defeat, you've got a dozen or more other co-defendants that are now thinking the same thing. Because Mark Meadows is not the only one that, of course, had filed a motion to get his case moved from state court to federal court. He just happens to be the only one who may have had a legitimate argument for doing so. Nobody else has that legal argument. So if Meadows can't be successful with that argument, nobody else can be successful with that argument. Which means none of these other people are going to have their cases removed from state court to federal court. Which means they're all going to trial. Which means you all have those same two options that Mark Meadows has. Some of you have made it clear you're not going to take the deal. You don't want to make a deal. You think you can beat this. Sidney Powell's one who thinks she can beat it, and God bless her, let her try. Of course, she also suffered a legal defeat last week when the judge said that her and Kenneth Chesebro could not separate their cases, so that sucks for y'all. In fact, all of this really sucks for y'all. I'm not saying I have sympathy for you. Y'all deserve it. But you're not being successful. It's been defeat after defeat after defeat in Georgia for Donald Trump and his allies. Things are looking bad for them. And the worse they get, the more likely it is that some of these people who may not have the resources to fight the charges, who may not have the resources to, look at a couple years in jail, those are the people that are most likely to flip. But at this point, honestly, it's starting to look like Willis doesn't even need that. She's got what she needs. So if you want to make a deal, you better make that phone call quick. And you better hope that Willis is in a good mood. Because I don't think she needs any of you to flip. But you need her to be willing to listen. And I don't even know that is going to happen now. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week. So if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.